How much should I buy? So how much should I purchase? Again, it's about diversifying. We always talk about metals as a long-term investment. So 4 or 5 years plus gives you the best opportunity and the best time frame for the metals to do their thing. However, in at this point in the economy and how things are looking, we
Yeah,
understand people are nervous and want to put more of what they've got into metals. Just take a step back and don't make a decision out of fear, because decisions out of fear are not always the best decisions. Diversify and look at money that's unallocated that you can, if you needed to, leave for 5 years. No one knows what's around the corner. You might need to sell it in a year's time, and that's completely fine. But as we sit here today, if the money is unallocated, then metals are a great option for that.
It's probably the safest thing you could ever do, or one of the safest things you could do, isn't it? With your paper currency. It's funny because we have some customers that I think you mentioned it earlier, Adam, that literally want to sell everything and put it into metals, and we're like, oh, maybe that's not a good idea either. We just have to just quiz them really and make sure they're not, they're not going to do anything that they're going to regret later. It's just being sensible, isn't it? And not overstretching too. You still need cash in the bank to pay for bills and things, and maybe an emergency fund. But then again, I'd probably rather have an emergency fund in my hand nowadays. Maybe some cash in my hand, but yeah, it's just weighing it up, isn't it? But that's why we have the calls. That's why we speak to people to make sure that this is the right vehicle. What we do is the right vehicle for the job to get them to where they want to be. And we've always said 4 or 5 years, haven't we, Adam, as an investment? Metals, it's a long-term investment.
Yeah, the longer the better.
But right now, even if it wasn't 4 or 5 years, even if it was only a few years, maybe if it was us, all we can ever say is if it was us, we'd still not want it in the banks. It's too risky to have it in the bank. So, it's weighing it up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as a general rule, if you're buying metals and you're thinking you're going to have to sell those metals in a month's time to buy groceries, then probably not the best option to put those funds into metals. It's
we go through this with people, don't we?
Yeah. So that's our thoughts. We go on 3 rules: unallocated, would otherwise be sat in a bank gathering dust, and for the long term. If it ticks those 3, then it's metals for us.
Calling all US citizens. Check out the link in the description to get your free Goldbusters ebook.